Hey guys, what's up? I'm Erin and welcome back to the channel. What's the best way for couples to manage their finances together? I feel like this kind of topic gets some really strong opinions. A recent study from Chime revealed some fascinating insights into how couples actually handle their money. So let's take a look and see how most couples are handling their finances. And if you have a strong opinion on this, feel free to leave it in the comment section down below. And while you're there, make sure to hit like and subscribe because it really does help the channel. According to Chime, there are three primary ways couples manage their money. About 34% prefer entirely separate accounts, 30% prefer to merge their finances, and 28% adopt the yours, mine, and ours approach. And 8% wanted to mess with the study by refusing to answer the question. I was actually pretty surprised by these results. I honestly would have thought that a greater percentage of married couples actually merge their finances. But based on this study, it turns out that it's roughly a third of each budgeting type. But I do also think this is kind of indicative of the times. I think people are tending to get married later in life and they're kind of wanting to maintain their own autonomy while being in a relationship. So I get that. Personally, I've always been a huge advocate of the yours, mine, and ours approach. And honestly, that was the budgeting style that we used in our household, at least in the beginning. However, as time went on and we were together for nearly a decade, bought a house together, had a kid together, there became a lot of blurring of the lines. In that situation, it's kind of hard to keep everything separate. So I would say we ended up following a modified version of the yours, mine, and ours approach. We each have our own separate checking and our separate retirement accounts, basically those accounts that we came into the relationship with. Then together, we jointly also have savings and investments that we've built together throughout the course of our relationship. I really like the yours, mine, and ours approach because I feel like it's a good balance between financial autonomy and shared responsibility. There's a little bit of we're working on life goals together, but I also have a little bit of personal freedom. I really like that feeling that I have my own money and that he has his own money. But truth be told, outside of those retirement accounts and checking accounts, everything else for us is pretty joint. And how you manage your finances as a couple is going to play a huge role in how you manage your expenses as a couple. I'm really a fan of the percentage-based model when it comes to sharing expenses as a couple. It seems like a fair way to treat each partner because each partner contributes a set proportion of their income. But surprisingly, only 11% of couples actually use this method. The majority either split bills equally or divide them differently, which may lead to inequality in the long run, especially if you're in a relationship where the incomes are drastically different. Say you're in a relationship where one person is earning $50,000 a year and then the other person is earning $200,000 a year. In that situation, it doesn't feel right to have to split the expenses 50-50. It also doesn't feel right that the higher earner would have to foot the majority of the bills simply because they're a higher earner. I feel like it's more fair to say that each partner should contribute, say, 30 or 40% of their pay towards those expenses. That seems like a more fair way to divvy it up. And as much as I am a fan of splitting expenses, that's not exactly how we handle things in our household. Instead, we adopted the philosophy of living off one income and saving and investing the other. And fortunately, for much of our relationship, we found ourselves in a situation where we were earning roughly equal incomes. So that meant that we were able to have a fairly high, aggressive savings rate. One alarming trend the study highlights is that many couples keep financial secrets. Nearly 38% keep their savings a secret. 32% hide their debt, and a significant percentage withhold information about their spending habits, bank accounts, credit scores, and even their income. Transparency is key in a relationship, especially when it comes to money. I couldn't imagine being married to someone and having no idea how much debt they had, or no idea how much of an income they had, or even a general sense of how they're spending their money. If you're in a relationship where you decide not to merge your finances, maybe you use the yours, mine, and ours approach, or maybe in just entirely separate accounts, it can be easier to fall into this trap of keeping secrets. But no matter what method you use, you can't keep secrets from your partner. Separate accounts does not mean secret accounts. There's nothing wrong with having separate accounts, but there is something wrong with wanting to keep your partner completely out of your financial life. So even if you have separate accounts, it's important to remember that you're working towards building a life together, that you're working towards common goals. And it's not that you have to sit down and go over every last penny in every single account, but you should have a general idea of what's going on in your partner's financial life, just as they should have a general idea of what's going on in your financial life. And more importantly, you should be working together to work towards common financial goals. Finances play a crucial role in relationships, and the study reflects this reality. 22% of people have ended a relationship due to their partner's poor financial habits. That goes to show how important it is to be on the same page with your partner, at least financially speaking. And I'm 100% on board with ending a relationship with someone who does not have their financial act together, or is at least not taking the steps towards getting their financial life together. For instance, if you have the goal of retiring early and saving aggressively, but you're with someone who has a YOLO mentality and has zero interest in saving, it's going to be very hard to reach your goals if you tie yourself to that situation. It's far better to be on the same page, otherwise you're in for a very rocky relationship. And if you're wondering how often couples tend to fight about money, the study said that the typical couple will fight anywhere from 1 to 2 times a month about money matters, which I actually think kind of sounds like a lot. If you're in a relationship where you have an open dialogue about money and you're working towards the same goals, I actually don't see that there would be a lot of fights about money. Genuinely, I don't think my husband and I have ever had a fight about money. We do have the occasional annoyance, like when he gets a new credit card. I'm annoyed because at some point you have to think you have enough credit cards, and he gets annoyed on a regular basis that I won't spend any money. The study also shed light on the top financial qualities people look for in a partner. And those top financial qualities that people are looking for in a partner? First was high income. Next was the desire to be debt-free, and the other one was valuing really good credit. Definitely, I think that financial compatibility is huge in a relationship, and I think objectively any of these financial qualities could be seen as great. But rather than looking for one specific thing, I think it's more important that you look for good habits. If you have good financial habits, you will inevitably build a good credit score. I don't think you should disqualify a prospective partner based on their current income level or whether they're completely debt-free. While these things might be absolutely wonderful, I think it's more important to say, are you in a career that you enjoy? Does that career pay you an income that allows you to live the life you want? As long as your income covers the life you want, you're in a really good position. And when it comes to debt, is their debt at a manageable level? Are they actively working towards paying it off? Again, all of these things come down to good financial habits. And did anyone see the headlines that it's actually a new trend with online dating profiles to include your credit score? And it's actually working. People doing this have scored more matches. And I can see why. A good credit score is telling of your financial habits. And nobody really wants to be in a relationship with someone with bad financial habits. It's a good, attractive quality to have your finances in order. Could you imagine walking up to someone who you already find attractive and you want to get to know a little bit better? You somehow know their income, fill in the blank, whatever you think a good income is. But then they say, I have my car paid off. I have my home paid off. I have a credit score of 820. Yeah, this person has a lot of green flags. I can see why you'd want to go out on a date with them. So how do you and your partner manage finances? Quite honestly, I don't think there's one right way to do it. I think each partnership is going to come up with their own way to handle it, but I think at the end of the day, what matters most is that you're transparent, that you have communication, that you're working towards common goals. So you can't be keeping secrets from each other. Share your thoughts in a comment down below. I post new videos every single week. If you had anything at all out of this one, please give it a like. If you're new here, please consider subscribing, or if you know of someone who might get something out of this type of content, please consider sharing. I'll see you soon. Bye. Could you imagine? Dude, it's really hard to film with you staring at me like that. Type and has his own savings of an individual account. RR. I'm feeling very judged right now. I'm feeling very judged. And investment, we still have a little bit of freedom, like a little bit of both. Okay. Yours, mine, and ours approach. Just bit my lip. Could you? I can't do this. You can't be there. And it is, but it isn't. It is, but it isn't. Oh, jeez. But okay, like 50 is enough. I don't know how many. Could you? bigger, more infrequent expenses, how much debt they had, or no idea what kind of income they made, or like in general sense, you should be working together towards, you're never gonna reach, don't hit yourself to that wagon. Could you imagine? Peanut, I can't do this.